Kindness. Kindness, the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. At Wine Library, I once had an employee I was really close with steal 20. At Wine Library, I once had an employee I was really close with steal $250,000 worth of wine. What would you do in that situation? People think of kindness as an ingredient to deploy. People think of kindness as an ingredient to deploy towards people they've disappointed. People think of kindness as an ingredient to deploy towards people they've disappointed, hurt, upset, or put in precarious spot, or put in a precarious spot. Thank you. Or put in a precarious spot. For me, it's about being kind to those who've put me in a difficult position. I've been kindest when associates have been rude to me or fucked me over in business and 2 years later pretended nothing happened. I've been kindest when associates have been rude to me or fucked me over in business and 2 years later pretended nothing happened. I often tell my friends with big potential that being kind is easy when it's easy. Being kind when you're under pressure is tough. It's easy to blast off and curse people out when you're feeling stressed. It takes internal strength to be the bigger man or woman, but it's an important trait that can be a differentiation. But it's an important trait that can differentiate you from others. On a daily basis, I rely on kindness to get me through anxious and challenging moments in business. The people closest to me have had the luxury of seeing it. But I'm sad that my aggressive communication style in front of the camera creates some confusion about my obsession with this word. You don't have the full context on anybody else. You have 100 childhood that molded them into who they are today. So how can you judge them? By the same token, when other people judge you, how can you take that judgment to heart when they don't have all the context on you? Those who judge themselves harshly tend to judge others harshly too. Those who are kind to themselves tend to be kind to others. When I first got news that an employee had stolen from us, it felt like a gut punch. I knew that my dad would be resentful. of the open, inclusive culture I created. That in my mind, I knew that my dad would be resentful of the open, inclusive culture I created. That in his mind enabled one of our own to take advantage of us. I immediately went into protection mode. Immediately, I went into protection mode. First, I reminded my dad that people have stolen from us in the past, even when he did have an iron fist of the company. It's just the nature of retail businesses. First, I reminded my dad that people have stolen from us in the past, even when he did have an iron fist over the company. It's just the nature of retail business. Then I asked myself, is that employee okay? Why do this? Is there something I don't know about? There was. The person was addicted to pain meds, desperately needed money, and stole from the company. Believe it or not, I feel a sense of gratitude and guilt in these situations. I've been so fortunate in my life to not be hurting. How could I not lean into empathy and kindness to find forgiveness for that individual? How could I not feel bad for them? That doesn't mean you can't hold the person accountable. People confuse the definition of kindness with the definition of pushover, a person who is easy to overcome or influence. They're not the same at all. You can be kind be candid, and hold your ground all at the same time. When you're in a confrontation with an employee, vendor, or client, kindness will let the other party open up to you in a way that would otherwise never happen. I'm passionate about practicing kindness to create a safe environment when delivering bad news or having a difficult conversation. If you're too empathetic and kind without balancing it with candor, however, you set yourself up for resentment later in life. When you're optimistic about the future, you can be the bigger person when others do wrong by you. But when time starts running out, you start lashing out. If I hadn't started developing kind candor as an emotional ingredient, resentment would flourish in my old age. I'd deploy the opposite of these ingredients in my 80s and 90s. Kind candor was always challenging for me because I don't care about what most people care about. I'm not transactional. I'm an emotional giver. Therefore, I have a larger capacity to deal with resentment. But at the same time, I know I have to balance that with other ingredients. For you, it may be the opposite. Even if you're great at candor, you might be missing the kindness element. Even if you're great at candor, you might be missing the kindness element. There's a reason why I added the word kind in front of candor. How you deliver the medicine matters. One of the reasons many people choose one doctor over another is bedside manner. It's not about only the knowledge of the medicine. It's a lot easier to swallow a grape-flavored cough syrup than drink it raw. It's more fun to be in a humorous, laughing mood before getting a shot than have tears running down your face. You're still getting the shot. Don't use candor as an excuse to not be nice. During the Steve Jobs era, I literally watched nice kids create a harsh, rude management style in their organizations as an ode to deeply, and it became one of the reasons why I wanted to talk more about kindness. In fact, it was the catalyst behind this book, and why I wanted to put these 12 and a half ingredients on a pedestal. I want to make traits like empathy, kindness, and gratitude cool. Just being a jerk was cool during that era. I'm not trying to have an argument about whether or not being a tough boss increases productivity and output. I'm trying to say that, at the end of the day, I believe kindness beats rudeness. I'm sure we can point to many successful organizations that had dark management styles, and I get it. Tough coaches can create successful teams. But if you look underneath the hood, there's a lot more love there than people from the outside. Realize. There's more context that people have internally. I don't know all the details around Steve, but I know how the youth in Silicon Valley interpret it and how it became lore. My intuition is that he held a lot more love and good intentions than his reputation at the point suggested. Even the toughest coaches in the NBA or NFL have players who love them. Many also speak of the coach being a totally different person behind closed doors than how he or she is perceived by the media. There's a reason for that. I intend to push this narrative of kindness as a strength and see what kind of impact I can have. It genuinely works. Tenacity. Give me 1 second. Yo, what's up, Instagram? Hope you enjoyed that little preview. Hope that live was fun for you. Raghav, somebody just said the SSL on my website still needs updating. Are we there yet? I thought we had that under control. Greetings from Greece. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's super well. Can't wait for you guys to all see this book, hear this book. I'm recording. It was nice to have you during this little session. Would love to get your feedback on what you just